The following is a paid program. Talk 103.7 WTIP and Cable Channel 7 welcome you into Financially Speaking with Jim Taunton. Find us live on radio, TV, the IBX Media app, and on YouTube. Just search Financially Speaking NC or get the link at WTIPFM.com. The opinions expressed in this show are for general informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine what investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities and investment advisory services are offered through Genoa Wealth Management Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Now, here's your host for Financially Speaking, certified financial advisor, Jim Taunton.
Hello and welcome to Financially Speaking. Jim Taunton here with Jameson on the other end. And yes, I have a cold. It ain't worth a flip. So I'm going to rely on Jameson a lot during this program. I'm going to lean on him. So it'll be up to him to carry the football. But, man, the exciting thing that's happening right now is ECU baseball. We get to play in a regional again, 8th straight year. And they're on TV tomorrow at 12. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So I hope we can beat Tennessee. But the coaching staff has just done an amazing job piecing together a pitching staff once again. I think this year in 2022 are probably Cliff's greatest coaching years when we lost key pieces of our pitching staff and still able to make the postseason. It's just amazing, really, what he's done. All right, we would love to have a call from you. We have some information to give you, but I just soon shelve it and answer a question from you about something that you think is important and pertinent to you personally. So give us a call during this first break, and we'll take your call when we get back from the break. Your name will go into the drawing for the Identitude Otapola. Hopefully we can give you an answer. And the number is 252-561-TALK, 561-8255, 561-8255. So let's do that first break, and we'll be right back with you in 2 minutes.
Aiden Golf and Country Club invites you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates, low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Aiden Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Aiden Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
All right, Jim and Jameson Taunton back with you. And we have Gene on the line. Gene, go right ahead with your question.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can. Yes, Gene, go right ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would ask you about Roth IRAs. Is there a point? Yeah, okay. Is there a point when I should stop contributing to a Roth IRA? I'm 58 now, and I plan on accessing them at 60, and I contribute every year the max, and I didn't know if there was a point where I should stop contributing or if there was some kind of tax penalty rule for how long I've had it open. I didn't know if you could tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, you're at a point you probably can stop contributing because the contributions you'll make now for the next couple of years aren't going to help you that much, to be honest with you, especially since you don't get a tax break on the contribution. So, so you're going to retire at 58 or 60.
60, yes.
Very good. Jameson, you have anything to add to that?
No, when clients always ask about how we feel about Roth versus traditional, a lot of times putting pen to paper, over the years, they're going to be very similar. But, it's kind of, I guess, what your flavor is, but can certainly serve its purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've probably done what you needed to do over your lifetime. And, of course, withdrawals will be tax-free, so you'll reap a pretty big dividend there from that. So where are you calling from, Gene?
Winterville.
Winterville, all the way out from Winterville. I actually do the program from my office at home, and I have a Winterville address, actually, so we're close. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
Yes, sir, and your name's in the drawing for the Dinner for Dude Autovola. Thank you very much for calling. And, got the cold, man. I sound bad to me. I don't know if I sound bad to you, but it's no fun. I heard a little something, Jameson, before we get into what you brought to the table. And I haven't fact-checked this, but it came from a very reliable source. And people think that bonds are without risk, especially U.S. Treasuries. They think they are risk-free. Well, are they? This gentleman said if you had bought U.S. Treasuries in March of 2000, you would have lost 1/2 of your money at this point.
Wow.
And that's because rates are higher now than they were then, considerably. But that's, people want to avoid stocks and go into bonds because they think it's, a lot less risky. But, man, that's pretty strong. Yet, I've told you on this program a lot of times the fodder for information we give you comes from real life cases. Of course, we don't use names, but Jameson's got one that he's still working on. Actually, it's a very convoluted kind of case, and I thought I'd have him share his process. Collecting data, assimilating, getting into the right positions, what went into the decision-making process. I mean, what has to happen for it to be implemented, all that sort of thing. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him talk.
Yeah, and real quick to add on what you were talking about with the Treasury bills and Treasury notes, was delivering a contract to a client earlier this past week, and he was talking to me about some Treasury bills that he was participating in. And, he was doing it for income. He wanted some tax-free income. So we started talking a little bit, and, it's, you don't have to pay state tax on those. And if that's really your main driving force, the state tax rate is so low, and there's calculations to kind of determine whether it's better to use a tax exempt type of fixed income or to go corporate income or maybe some type of real estate fund for income. That tax break doesn't end up being all that big of a factor when kind of deciding which way you want to go. So, All right. So like he he said, had an interesting case, and we work together on pretty much all cases that we have. Any new money coming in the door, and a lot of the clients that we're meeting with nowadays to do reviews and whatnot. We're working together, so you're getting 50 plus years of experience. Obviously, more weighted on his end, but we both have different perspectives on certain things, so it's always best. Two heads are better than one. That's for sure. But this case that we're going to talk a little bit about, a couple came in. They are wife is mid 60s. Husband is, I think, just turned 70, I believe. And they were actually a referral from another financial professional, tax professional here in the area. And first off, referrals are almost the highest form of flattery for us. If someone, whether it be another professional of a certain kind or current client, family friend, whatever the case may be, referrals, if someone thinks high enough of us to refer someone that they know to us, it really makes us feel good and really, cause us to lock in even more, so that way we perform up to the worthiness of that referral. So we're always very appreciative of that. But this referral came in, older couple. And first thing that struck me, and probably you as well when they came in, they were very organized. They were slightly informed investors, I would say. You never know what it's going to look like when people come in. Some come in, don't bring anything, come in to talk. We figure out how things are going to go, and then we kind of get the ball rolling. But in this case, clients came in, they had statements already prepared. They had a sheet breaking down their income. They had a sheet with all these different accounts that they wanted to talk about, some questions that had come to mind. So it really helps us kind of have a good jumping off point, kind of know which direction we need to go, how the conversation needs to go. But typically our conversations always start out as, getting to know each other. We take them through the website, show them all the members of our team, which is us two, my mom, who's the office administrator, and then our other advisor in Washington. So tell them about everyone involved on our team, the things that we do. We talk about the 6 or 7 bear markets and downturns and recessions that we've been through, all the clients that we handle, the total amount of assets that we manage. So just to give them kind of that a feeling of comfort that they've come to the place of somebody that's experienced. So we go through that. And then we broke out everything they had and started diving into it. Started talking about some of the areas of concern that they may have. And we're processing all this information as we're talking. We're kind of thinking in the back of our mind, okay, this is probably something we're going to need to focus a little more on, or this is probably something that's not going to come up, so we can kind of take that off the table. Because we have kind of 2 ways that we can look at it. We can put on those blinders and focus on one specific thing, like rolling over a retirement plan, or looking at life insurance, or cash flow management, that type of thing. Or we can look at an overall picture and do a financial plan, which lets us see everything A to Z financially with them. So some of the things we started kind of figuring would be most important would be account management and consolidation. And you will understand why here in a few minutes. But that was probably going to be the biggest thing for them. Talking about some retirement planning, mainly for growth. And the reason being is because the Social Security that they were collecting, and just on his side, she hasn't started collecting it yet. So including her Social Security that she will be getting, along with some pensions that they're collecting on right now, those were taking care of their income needs, which was really good for them. They were already in a great spot. So kind of those accounts that we were going to be handling, we're looking just to maximize growth while staying in their kind of comfort zone as best as possible. So account management, retirement planning, a little bit of estate planning. And that was kind of a big thing for them. They have children that they have in the back of their mind with everything that they're handling. Especially, they have a highly functioning, I believe, a son with a special needs disability. So that's something that weighs heavily on them when making some financial decisions and looking forward to the future. How are things going to affect him? How are things going to affect their ability to help him? So that was really a big thing that we kind of had to focus on as we were going through this whole process and the conversation with them. And then that kind of carried over into some long-term care conversations. And, when going through everything, we kind of decided to break it up into different steps. We wanted to start talking about one thing. And then once we take care of that, then we'll focus on the next thing. So just not to overwhelm them because as you're about to find out, it was quite a bit. So what I did to make everything a little bit easier to go over and to digest, I made a spreadsheet of all of their accounts. So I had packets and packets of statements to go through. It ended up being a total of about 30 or 31 different accounts, which is by far the most that I think we've ever had come at one particular time that I can remember. But there were checking and savings accounts, some that were theirs, some that were that they inherited. There were CDs. I think there were probably 8 or 10, maybe a dozen different CDs at different banks coming due at different times, different amounts. There was an advisory account that they already had set up. I believe it was one that they inherited. There were some former employer stock plans that they had. So had some stock in some former employers. Had a couple of Roth IRAs, one each. Had some former employer retirement plans or 401ks. I think there were maybe 4 or 5 total that they had just, some were from the last employer, some were from ones that they just didn't take care of when they left that employer. So had a few there. And then also had some life insurance policies, which had some long-term care aspects that we were going to discuss and kind of determine if it was needed and, if we could find something better for them, different things like that. So that was kind of a big undertaking to go through all that paperwork and get all the different accounts and put it in a format to where we could easily see it and discuss it and go through it and understand the purpose of those funds and kind of develop a plan of what to do with it, where to move it. And so after all was said and done, we figured that we could put everything into 5 different accounts. So going from 31 accounts into 5 accounts. It was going to be a game changer for them. You could just tell that there was a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety from all these different things and different sources.
So how you do that is all the accounts that have the same type of registration, same exact registration can be moved. Mm-hmm. So if there were 3 individual accounts in the husband's name, they could be consolidated. And if there were 4 joint accounts in both their names, they could be consolidated. Mm-hmm. 3 IRAs for the same person could be consolidated. Mm-hmm. That sort of thing.
Yeah. So there's 5 that we were able to determine we could combine them in these manners. There was a non-qualified advisory account that we were going to open, and it was going to be a joint account. So not only could any joint accounts that they already have be moved into that, but any non-qualified individual accounts could also be combined into that. So an advisory account that was joint for non-qualified money. We had a Roth IRA that we would have for each. And just qualified funds you can't combine. There's only one owner. So a Roth for the wife, Roth for the husband. And then the other we were rolling over their former employer workplace plans. Had one for the husband, one for the wife. So 2 qualified, 2 Roth, and 1 advisory non-qualified. So that was a huge step. So we're kind of in the midst of that. I'm actually meeting with them tomorrow. Going to order some checks, get some money in motion. Got some accounts open, so we'll be able to start seeing things roll in. That's kind of the next step. So once we get all the information together, we determine kind of what we want to do with each thing, what's going to be the purpose of each account, and then we start to implement that plan. So in this case, the plan is to get all the money here, and then we're going to manage it in a way to try to maximize growth opportunities. We don't want to be carefree. I don't want to say carefree. That's a bad word. We don't want it to be, throw caution to the wind, I guess you could say, and be just as aggressive as possible with it. But we want to take advantage of some growth opportunity. And the reason we can do that at their age is because we have income that is sufficient currently. Most people, when they get to retirement, the income sources or the principal sources that they've been building, over their working years is now going to be converted into something that we can use for income. But in this case, we're not having to do that. So we can be a little more aggressive than maybe we normally would. So do all the paperwork, get the money in motion. And then once everything has been moved from the various accounts, in this case, the 30 plus accounts, moved to the 5 accounts here, then we get back together. We pull up our third-party reporting system, pull up the accounts, and show them the beauty of what consolidation looks like. So something that is a lot easier for them to look at, to review, to understand, instead of going to, a dozen plus sources to look at various accounts. So not only does it relieve some anxiety on that part, but it allows them to fully grasp the plan that we're developing for them. And it allows us to them to really understand what's going on, to be able to ask questions. And then we just continue to meet, we continue to make adjustments as needed. At some point, they may determine that, I want to start drawing a little bit of income from this, whether it be for, their other sources of income aren't going to stop. So maybe there's some fun things that they want to do with it. I think we both would agree that this would be a case that we can tell them, hey, you can most certainly start spending some of your money. Even before the required minimum distributions start, they are in a very good spot to where the money is at their disposal. And so we're going to help them as much as we possibly can. We've enjoyed getting to know them and look forward to helping them moving forward.
And virtually everything that we will put their money in will be liquidable daily. So if they need money, they can certainly have access to it. And when we set up these accounts, we will set up an electronic link between the account and their checking account, so they can call in and say, look, I need $5,000. My AC went out, and usually can be in their account the following day.
That was a big thing for them. Yeah, they ask us, multiple times, hey, do we need to keep, 6 months worth? Or I think there was a specific amount that they had in mind. Do we need to keep this in our account? And, while keep 5, 10,000, something like that if you want to, but, having 60, 80, 100,000 sitting in an account for a rainy day is not necessary anymore, just because you can get access to your funds a lot faster nowadays.
Yeah, what I tell clients is you work too hard for your money not to have it working as hard as it can for you. And so therefore we don't want a whole lot of money in a very low interest-bearing account or an account that's paying no interest at all. Mm-hmm. But I know the wife in particular is fairly analytical, so Jameson's had to spend some time, and will continue to spend some time making her understand how things are working, and that where she can have a comfort level. Get the warm fuzzies about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and that's one thing about us. We'll spend time teaching and explaining and making sure that someone has a grasp. Of course, they're not going to know all that we know. We can't get them to that point, but we'll certainly get them to a comfort level with everything that's going on.
We work with our clients and for our clients. We don't work and dismiss them. They are a part of the process. They are the owner of the team. They're just considering us as general managers to help them make decisions. So we don't take that lightly.
Yeah, very good. And hopefully that case will be coming to fruition in the next few weeks. Moving on to another subject. I mentioned, I believe it was last week or week before, I'm working on getting the Potomac Bull Bear strategy manager on the program. They have said that he would come on, but we just haven't nailed down a time yet. I'm looking forward to that. Potomac Bull Bear is a very tactical strategy, and I love to talk with people, ask them why they do what they do, how they do it, and what goes into the decision making. So we'll make the announcement on the program, when that happens, so you'll be able to tune in. And if you do miss it live on the radio, you can always go to YouTube or Facebook and watch it after the fact. I mean, weeks after the fact, if need be. So, and again, I apologize for my voice. I've got a cold going on, and I know I hate to hear people that are all stuffy, and I'm stuffy. I am got a cold. All right. I have nothing else, Jameson. You have anything else to close us out?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. Well, let's turn that music on then. There it is. You need to say something else?
No. Go Pirates.
Okay. Yep. Go Pirates. Yeah. Beat the Vols tomorrow at 12.
Yeah.
So glad you tuned in. And it's all, yeah.
I was wondering if that sounded like Gene, who is the significant other of another recent client. You remember? Know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
A lady. They're not married.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they both came from somewhere northern. Obviously, I'm not going to say their name, possible. But very, very intelligent couple.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, it sounded like him. So he is a great one to always call in because he has great questions.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is Jim and Jameson helping you make all of your financial decisions good ones. Good night, everybody.
Good night.